In all honesty, I do not have a grasp of what the University of Pittsburgh plied with the help of Ringo Starr and Frank Zappa and Saul Brecker as a provincial norm that allowed what happened to me. Children and students older than me at Peabody High School were turning over cars and lighting them on fire, the sort of practice that still occurs in Pittsburgh when the Steelers win a Super Bowl. Lighting garbage cans on fire, breaking store windows, going on a wilding spree. I was traumatized by the Ford brothers breaking windshield wipers. I have no apologies to make about this characteristic in my disposition. It made me freeze and refuse to participate when they robbed people, made me attempt to get the money back for the victims. It made me follow the instructions of the police in the school in an effort to live substantively as a contributing member of our society. It was not that sort of ball game in East Liberty. They were stealing cars. They were pushing hard drugs. There were shootings. They had scouts around the school to kidnap and torture me. They gassed me with a drenched rag of inhalants. Black race war from Philadelphia and Temple and Seattle, Washington. Invested in what the KKK did to a little white deaf boy. To masquerade that as anything other than opportunistic and disturbing corruption is deranged. So when Miles Kirshner talks about applying drugs and LSD on the deaf kid who he had because nobody was befriending me as a contemporary in Taylor Alderdice High School, as somehow proof that Brecker dragging me through glass was me having fun, that me hiding in the towel closet at our house on Winterton Street was somehow my being a pussy. You would have taken my angry dog and a rifle that my mother gave away to protect my sister from these Italians with switchblades who came marching into our house. And I was only 9 or 10 years old. The derision that was heaped on me by Peter Gabriel and Ringo Starr is part of a fascist intelligence system. You can see Beatles have laughed all the way through what happened in Gaza. They're Ripper Hatter hate criminals of the worst and lowest order. There's nothing good to be said about them. And they have rubbed it in my face as many ways and as many times as they can, and they're still on the march to do it some more. And the evidence shows that John Lennon was behind it, not his death. That's why they didn't arrest Gail Burston. You will never be able to discuss Gail Burston in the public at BBC or the New York Times or the Pittsburgh Post Gazette or the Ellsworth Intelligencer, Ellsworth American, and the St. Louis Post Dispatch. God, that's the last place they'll allow it. Why? Because she appears on the cover of a Fripp record from 1979. So they smear me. in ugly, ugly, terrifying ways. Because they're deranged sadists. Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr are deranged sadists. Putrid, cruel people. And McCartney praises Pittsburgh as being like Liverpool. You know, when you hear about them lighting immigrant hotels on fire, you think, well, Paul McCartney may have a point. That's his truth. That's his representative faction. The Beatles were, after all, named after the VW, which was created by Hitler. The Beatles. But it's time to at least admit to ourselves that that's what they really are. And when Peter Gabriel says Pittsburgh sees it his way, he's saying that Pittsburgh just sees cause to the old Nazi fetish of Nosferatu in Israel. Raping children, dragging them through glass, pour gas on it, let's get going. You know, the kind of things Ringo Starr and his sidekick Brecker say.